Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. So I am doing another, I guess we're calling it tarot therapy reading. And again, there's no rhyme or reason to these readings. I literally just pull cards and whatever comes through comes through. So I'm thinking that with a lot of these readings, there's going to be a lot of relationships that pop up, and I'm not talking about just romantic relationships. I mean relationships in general, which makes sense because as human beings, yeah, we are social creatures, so our relationships are very, very important to us. So it does not shock me that within these readings where we are, processing things, especially, things that may have happened in the past, or maybe even things that are happening currently, that relationships are going to show up. But we don't have to center it around relationships in a codependent type of way. It can definitely be in a, growing and learning and evolving by dissecting these past connections type of way, or maybe even present and future connections, depends on what comes through. So let's go ahead and get into it. So on the left, like the first two cards that I pulled are the Empress and the Wheel of Fortune. And then on the right is the Strength and the Star card. And then in the middle is the Queen of Cups. So I'm reading the Queen of Cups as the energy that's between you and another person. So this is like the energy surrounding your connection. And again, this does not have to be a romantic relationship. This could have been a friend, a co-worker that was significant, a family member. There's just so many different types of relationships and connections that can really deeply influence us. This could be a teacher that you had, a pastor, a spiritual leader that you used to follow, things like that. So just take that into consideration. So with the Queen of Cups being between you, I feel like there definitely was a very strong emotional tie between you and this person. It feels like an intuitive tie as well, like the bond being so deep that it's like you could almost read each other's thoughts. Like you could even like know this person's whereabouts without being in front of them. Like you could get like intuitive nudges about what they're doing or what they got going on. Like this is the type of person that, or the type of connection that if the person was really, really upset, you could feel it and you would call them like, hey, I got a feeling. Are you okay? Or, the type of connection where it's like you finish each other's sentences, or it feels like 8th house synastry, 12th house synastry. Like if you speak astrology, if those having synastry within those houses, it's very, very intense. And it's like you're really deeply intertwined with the person. It could even be 4th house synastry, I would say too. Like a person who kind of feels like home to you. This could even literally be your mother. I'm not gonna lie, I'm hoping that this is not like a toxic mother reading, because this topic is just always so heavy. I mean, if it comes through that way, then that's fine, but this topic can just be so heavy and so triggering. Mother wounds are like one of the deepest wounds that you can have. It kind of goes right past your emotional body and hits straight into like your soul, like spirit. It becomes like a spiritual wound. So yeah, I don't know. Let's just see what comes through. But that's the energy between you two. So on the left, we have the Empress and the Wheel of Fortune. Hold on one second. Let me just feel into that, because I'm trying to figure out which person is you. Okay, this is you. I just heard that clearly. This is you. And it's interesting because like the other two cards, I'm seeing it's the other person, but there's certain aspects of you within those other two cards as well. Okay, I'll explain it as I go. So this is you. We have the Empress card and we have the Wheel of Fortune card. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me pause this for a second and meditate, because something's off. Something's very off about this energy, and I can't really put my finger on what it is. One second. Okay, I had to stop and meditate for a second. This on the left is not you, actually. It's the other person. And what's feeling off about this is the fact that you're so enmeshed with this person. It's hard for me to tell who is who. Unfortunately, this is probably going to be a reading, a toxic mother reading. probably, or someone who, as a result of your mother wound, you became enmeshed with them. But there's like where their energy stops and where yours start. It's just very enmeshed. It's hard for me to tell who is who. I literally had to sit and meditate on it for a second. This person on the left, it's absolutely them. I'm sure of it now. So with the Empress card being here and the Wheel of Fortune card being here, again, this is someone who comes across as a mother figure in some way. It most likely is your actual mother, but it could also be someone who kind of, how do I explain this? Basically, when you have a mother wound and you have that feeling of abandonment and worthlessness and things of that sort that comes with the mother wound, we end up attracting people who can soothe, or who we think can soothe that wound. And usually the person that comes in is usually a narcissistic person who comes in love bombing you, because love bombing feels like it's healing the mother wound. I actually learned that from Professor Sam Vaknin. He was talking about how if you have been victim of a narcissist, that you should look at your mother wound, or look to see if you have a mother wound. You most likely do, because love bombing from a narcissist feels like it's completely healing the mother wound, which is why it feels so good to be love bombed by a narcissist. And that's why people with mother wounds are most likely to fall victim to a narcissist. You know, someone who does not have a mother wound, love bombing might feel actually overwhelming to them, or they might feel like something is off. They might feel like the boundaries are being pushed. But when you have a mother wound and someone's coming in love bombing you, it's like you don't see it as a red flag, because it genuinely feels like you are that child again that's finally being seen by their mother. It's very deep. And that's why when narcissists discard you, it's so painful, because it's like it felt like they were healing your mother wound, and then they just end up discarding you and throwing you away, and it feels like a child being left out in the cold. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing here. It's either your actual mother or someone who comes in that you attach to due to your mother wound, you know. And also due to your mother wound, you could be attracted not just to narcissists, but to like emotionally unavailable people as well. So they don't have to be a narcissist. They could just be someone who's emotionally unavailable, or again, this is just someone who you attach to due to your mother wound. So that's how they're coming up. They're coming up as the Empress, and they're coming up as the Wheel of Fortune as well. So I feel like with this person, to me, it kind of feels like, because I'm hearing like different stages, different cycles, different person, meaning that this is a person who could doesn't know how to hold on to one person long term, that they tend to cycle through people. And how do I explain this? I can't wait for this retrograde to be over, y'all, seriously, so my thoughts can be clear, my speech can be clear. This is someone who cycles through different people, or someone who acts like different people depending on the person who's around. And I'm going to try to explain this the best I can. When I'm hearing that they cycle through different people, I mean like the type of person who gets held accountable for certain things that they do wrong, and instead of trying to fix it, they instead just move on to the next person. Like that sort of thing. Like if you try to hold them accountable for something, they will kind of spin it around on you and then be like, you know what, I don't even want you in my life, bye. And then they'll just go and, entertain someone else. And yes, even if it is a mother, mothers do that too. Yes, they do. Like a narcissistic mother especially will sacrifice the relationship with their child, the connection with their child, just so that they won't be held accountable. Yes, mothers do this. So this might apply more to the relationship aspect, but it definitely applies to mothers as well. So I hear that cycling through people, but I also hear potentially just having different masks for different people. And I don't mean in the normal sense where it's like, oh, different people bring out different sides of you, or, sometimes you have to be more professional around people and things like that. No, I mean like straight up two-faced, like straight up, like they act one way in private, and in public you would never ever guess that they were that way. Like their public persona and their private persona are like night and day. Like this is the type of person that will be very, very harmful to you behind the scenes, but in public will praise you and, show you off and things of that sort. That's kind of what I'm seeing. I do get to like the showing you off messages coming through more more clearly too, that this person is someone who would like to show you off, or someone who does like to keep up appearances. Like, they really like for people to look at them in a favorable light, but instead of living a righteous life where, you know, they have integrity behind the scenes, they're a great person, and, you know, out in public they're also a great person and they appreciate being appreciated. Like, that's one thing, but this is like, no, someone who behind the scenes is horrible and then in public they want to be praised and appreciated as a good person. So yeah, there's definitely like this two-faced type of energy that I am sensing from that. I do feel like this person is very intelligent. I don't know why that's coming through, but this person seems very intelligent. Either they're a very book smart person, or there's something that they're extremely good at or extremely gifted at. And I do feel like they use that to their advantage in order for people to look at them in a favorable light. So this could be someone who's very smart and has like a really good career. You know, like you hear those stories about like, oh, you know, my father was a doctor and because of that, nobody believed me when I said he was abusing me. It's like when people have a certain level of intelligence and they have a certain career, they literally can get away with more. And it's like sickening to read stories about stuff like that. Like, it's just people that you would never guess behaving this way, because when you think about, oh, this person's a doctor or they have a PhD, they do this prestigious work, they can get away with so much more behind the scenes. It's sickening. But outside of just the intelligence, I feel like this could also be a person who they're good at something. Like, it doesn't have to be intelligence that they're like book smart in that way, or they're good at something. They could be like very charismatic. They could be good at pretending to be very caring and loving. It's just something about this person that they're very good. I hope that this makes sense. They're just very good at something, and because they're so great at this thing, like it's like above average what they're good at, they can get away with so much more behind the scenes. Like, you know, those people who are really, really, really good at showing up and doing like charity work, and you always see them at like a charity drive or giving back to the needy. And like, they're so good at being like an overgiver that they can get away with so much more behind the scenes. I really hope that makes sense. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I do feel like this person is someone who tries to dodge karma a lot. They try to, and it's not like they're doing it consciously, but I feel like they just want to dodge accountability at all costs, if that makes sense. Like, they just want to dodge having to face themselves at all costs. That's the best way I can explain it. So they'll throw people and situations away and just pretend that it didn't happen. Or they will demonize a person that tries to hold them any type of accountable. I feel like this energy is consistently coming out in these tarot therapy readings, right? Like, this energy of people not wanting to be accountable. But it makes sense because, like, with tarot, this series that we're doing, if we're unpacking things that maybe still need to be processed, then yeah, people who don't take accountability are going to leave the biggest scars, because it's like you've been completely invalidated by the things that they've done. So yeah, of course you're still going to be carrying the energy and still needing to process it, because healing starts with, you know, being seen. A lot of the time, like, if you're not seen by anyone, you go through something horrible and no one validates you, no one takes accountability for it, and like, you have no one to like sit and talk with about it, you have no one to make you feel seen in that way, you'll still carry that energy with you. So I guess it makes sense that this is coming up. This could also be a person that at times you kind of see them have windfalls of good luck, or you feel like when you look at them, like they're just lucky or they have good things happen to them, and you're like, what the hell, like, why can this person do so much wrong and then still have opportunities come their way? But I'm here to tell you right now that this realm is very tricky, because in this realm you can still manifest things in your life that you want, even if you're a horrible person, but you still are racking up karmic debt regardless, and you're going to have to pay it regardless. So just because you see someone who's done wrong manifesting abundance into their life in terms of like maybe wealth or things like that, please don't think that the karmic debt is not going to have to be paid. It's going to have to be paid, like, one way or another. So whatever success they may be having, it does not mean that the karmic debt is not going to catch up to them, and it's going to collect, eventually. And I know that sounds cliche, that sounds hard to believe, but I've seen it firsthand too many times in very blatant ways that just can't be ignored. And I feel like I was able to see those things because I do think that God wanted me, God wanted me to not become, bitter, and to carry those really, really heavy feelings that come with, people getting away with things that they do. It's like I would get a front row seat to see these people get their karma, even without me looking for it, even without me having to like go and stalk them about it and check their page. Like without me having to do that, one way or another, I find out something that has happened to them that's so eerily similar to what they did to me. And I've even had it happen on the anniversary dates of the things that they've done to me. Like there will be a specific date that they did something horrendous to me that was so bad that I will always remember the date. And then on the anniversary of that day, I will find out something horrible happened to them. So it's been made very clear to me that karma is a real actual thing. And then I look on the clock right now, 11:11 on the clock. So yep, confirmation. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's go to your side of the cards. So you have the Strength card and the Star card. So I feel like you are someone who's just had to have a lot of inner resilience. Like you're someone who has just been through a lot, and you have just needed to continuously pick yourself up and keep on going. I do feel like you have a lot of support in the spirit realm as well that's helping you to keep on going. So it's like you're leaning on your own strength, but you also have a whole team in the spirit realm that you're leaning on as well. I'm hearing that your ancestors, your spirit guide, your team, it's like they're really invested in you winning. And I know that might sound very odd, and I don't want to make it sound too scary either. I mean, if you're watching tarot, then clearly you're comfortable with spiritual things, but some people get spooked out when they hear like, oh, there's people in the spirit realm like watching me and rooting for me. Like if it seems like spooky, like there's a ghost looking at me, like no, that's not it's nothing spooky. It's just that when you are, you're more than likely someone who's a generational curse breaker, right? And when you heal and you break those generational curses this lifetime, you heal your entire bloodline. And so your ancestors are invested in this. Like they want you to win because your bloodline has been in bondage for so long. And when I say bondage, I mean just being oppressed by different generational curses, like there being like narcissism within your family, people in your family who were martyrs, like self-sacrificers, people who never got to really live out their full potential, people who never got to experience like true self-love and what it means to have true loving relationships. It's like so many different forms that generational curses can come in, and I feel like you may be the person that was sent to break these. And so yeah, you do have a powerful spiritual team because you have such an important role, so that's what I'm seeing. With the Star card being here, yep, that just kind of gives confirmation. Generational curse breaker for sure, healing yourself and healing your bloodline by healing yourself. I do feel like with the Star card here, it's like you have always had to continuously renew yourself emotionally. Like you're consistently being torn down emotionally and then having to renew yourself over and over and over again. And it's exhausting. I feel your exhaustion through the card. And I do think that there's a message coming through here about being more mindful and having stronger boundaries, because it's like your physical body is being broken down through all of the emotional pain as well. So even though you are a strong person and you have the ability to pick yourself up and keep going after, you experience emotional pain, just take into consideration that it is harming you physically as well. So it's like emotionally, yeah, you're like, okay, I feel better. I'm picking myself up. I'm just going. But your body, your nervous system, everything has taken a hit, a really bad hit every time. So you're being asked, and this is not blaming you for the things that you've experienced, because there's people who genuinely like just snuck into your life. You know what I mean? Pretending to be something that they're not. And you could have been someone who, wanted to even help these people or help this person that came into your life. only for them to end up not being who they say they are and hurting you very deeply. So it's not victim blaming at all, but I think this card is saying to take the wisdom that you've obtained from all of these experiences, and with that wisdom, it's like you have better discernment when it comes to who to let into your life, and guarding your heart better, and just just having the awareness that just because you can handle the emotional pain, or you think you can handle it, and you're like, okay, I'll just get up and brush myself up and keep going, brush myself off and keep going. You think you can handle it doesn't mean that you should, because your body is keeping the score, just like the book, the body keeps the score. Your body is keeping the score, and no matter how much mentally you think, oh, I've moved on, your body is consistently taking a beating. I think that also you could be someone who lives in your head a lot, so sometimes you don't realize how much your body is taking a beating from the stress of being in emotional distress, because it's like when you're in your head a lot, you're disconnected from your body. You don't really see how much it's affecting you. And that's why a lot of people end up with, health complications and things like that in the future, because they're unaware of how they're being affected physically in this way. But I do feel like you are just someone who is destined to always rise after devastation. Like, you're just built different. And I hesitate to say that because, again, just because you're built different and because you can get up and dust yourself off and keep going more than the average person can, it doesn't mean that you should. I think that you were given this strength to be able to get up and keep going because, once again, you were sent here on a very, very important mission or a very important assignment. And so it's like, it was known that there would be bumps and bruises on the way, so you had to cultivate strength. But that doesn't mean that throughout your life you need to keep on getting into these situations or stay in situations that are harmful just to prove that you can. You've already proven enough just by you being alive, like you being able to actually keep living through everything that you've been through. You've proven your strength. You don't need to prove it anymore. You don't need to stay in certain circumstances just to prove that you can do it or prove that you can get past it. So yeah, that's ultimately what I'm seeing for you. So I want to pull one more card. Okay, so the last card that I pulled is the Judgment card, because I wanted to get deeper into how you two are intertwining, because I feel like I just read their energy and read your energy, and I'm like, okay, how does this weave together? So the Judgment card, I feel like what this card is saying is that it's very clear that you and this person, it's a very strong karmic tie, it seems. And with the Judgment card coming out, it's like both of you were meant to show the other something within yourselves that you normally would not have seen, or something that's extreme, that's completely blocked off, that you normally wouldn't have seen. And this message might sound a little cliche. I apologize if you're like, oh my God, this again, people coming into your life and being a mirror. I'm so sick of this. Yeah, I know it is irritating, because it's like, okay, for once, can someone come in and be a good mirror, instead of like just coming in and showing all these wounds and bringing all these wounds to the surface. But I do feel like, yeah, this does feel to me like it is a karmic tie. I think there's something deeply repressed within both of you that is supposed to come to the surface through each other. But it's all a matter of who is going to be willing to see those wounds come up and feel them and sit with them and actually heal them, versus who is going to run away and just start a new life over, sacrifice the situation and start over. I feel like that person who was coming up as the Wheel of Fortune is the one that wants to sacrifice and then start over. And you, being the Strength card and the Star card, you want to actually face the things that come to the surface. You actually want to heal the things that come to the surface. Oddly enough, I feel like both of you in this reading are supposed to be generational curse breakers. I think the other person is off their path. I do. I think that something went left and got really distorted. And I think that you are actually supposed to be showing them that they are meant to be a generational curse breaker in their own bloodline, and that they've lost their way. And I don't think it's going to be successful in showing them that, because they just seem to really lack self-awareness, or they don't seem like they have your strength. See, I think that you might be underestimating how strong you actually are. It's not that you can just pick yourself up and keep on going. It's that you could pick yourself up and keep on going while still maintaining your sensitivity, while still maintaining your emotional depth without completely closing your heart off and just going cold to the world. It's like you're able to still maintain that. And because you have this deep connection to your own emotions, like you're in tune with your emotions, that also grants you the strength to be able to face certain wounds that come to the surface, and even gives you the strength to be able to hold yourself accountable in ways that this other person can't. I feel like this other person, if they try to hold themselves accountable for things that they've done, it would cause them to become dysfunctional because they just don't have the emotional tools to be able to do so. But I do feel like this person was originally meant to be a generational curse breaker. And this is the thing. That's why people say, okay, sorry, I had to pause the reading for a second. So you heard a slight pause, that's why. But what was I saying? Oh, that's why when people say like, oh, you know, this was destined to happen, or it's fated for this to happen. It's like, yeah, some things I guess are fated, but this, even what's coming through in this reading, is just a very clear indicator of how much free will humans actually have. Like it could be planted in your heart that you're on a mission to break generational curses, and you could completely lose your way, completely and totally lose your way, and use your free will to walk a completely different path. Like, you're not going to be forced back onto your path either. You're not. But someone might come into your life and hold up a giant mirror to you and show you what you were supposed to be. And I feel like that is what you are to this person, even without realizing it or even without knowing it. I think this person was also supposed to be someone who heals their bloodline. And for whatever reason, I'm guessing the traumas that they've experienced and things of that sort, they completely lost their way. I think their heart became closed off. And if you've had like clashes with this person, or like just like falling out with them, or arguments or things like that, because again, I see that they bring your wounds to the surface as well. It's like, that's why you're clashing so much. It's like you're holding up a mirror to them that they don't want to see. And I think you're everything that they were supposed to be. And I think their soul recognizes that and realizes that in you. And you trigger their shame because of that a lot of the time. I think that this person really envies your courage and really envies your strength, even if they don't consciously know it or realize it, and envies the way that you're able to stay emotionally present, and that you're still connected to your emotions in your heart space, even after all you've been through, and they were not able to. Whew, this is deep. This is deep. But yeah, this person was supposed to be a curse breaker, and unfortunately they're not walking that path. But through whatever connection you have with them, I feel like it helped you to activate your spiritual mission or your purpose as a curse breaker. And unfortunately, this person is just, they may have to do it again. They may have to reincarnate and do it again, potentially. But I don't want to get into that because I feel like that's when things get really complex and complicated, when we start talking about reincarnation. So potentially you might have to do it again. That's the Wheel of Fortune energy that I'm spinning, that I'm getting, like the wheel is turning continuously, representing different life cycles. And I think this person may need to come back again to get it right. I'm guessing I want to stop there. In order to shed this connection, I do feel like you have to step out of your old identity. And as you step into your new identity and answer your higher calling, like rebirthing yourself and then answering your higher calling, is going to sever the tie more with this person, so you'll be less impacted by the things that they've done. So that's what I'm seeing. We're going to finish this in the extended. We're going to dive more into this connection, dive more into this person and the curses they were supposed to break, but they got off their path. And then, also we'll look at guidance for you moving forward. So thank you guys for listening. And again, we will finish this over on my Patreon. So I will see you in the extended reading.